Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome along to another Bookish adventure. So today we are doing my February wrap up. For a second I was about to say TBR. No, definitely wrap up. So my first book that I finished was The Shrike the Shadows by A.M. Wright and Chantal Godari. Godari? I think it's Godari. And this was a book that was gifted to me by the author, A.M. Wright. She contacted me on Instagram and just said if I wanted to read it in exchange for an honest review. So I read this book about a month prior to publication. So this is a fairy tale retelling. This is of Hansel and Gretel, and Hansel and Gretel basically live in this little village, and the Shrike lives in the haunted woods surrounding the village, and she takes men and she takes their hearts and she leaves them on their family's doorsteps. And a culmination of things happen, but basically it leads with the twins being left with the ultimatum of Greta being burned at the stake or leaving and taking their chances in the woods. So they do that, and basically they have to face down the Shrike and her monsters and just everything she's trying to throw at them to get to her brother. In general, it was really good. It was mostly from the perspective of Greta. I would have liked to have had it more from Hans, and this is one of the things what I mean by I wish I'd been contacted sort of not like so close to publication. I would have liked to have had more from Hans because the wood really affects him in such a different way. His mood changes, his personality changes. You can feel that not only is his body becoming weak, but his mind is. Like, the Shrike is just like slowly just sinking her claws into him. So it would have really been nice to have just had his perspective, because not only is she messing with Hans, but she's messing with Greta too, with hallucinations. But it was a good book. The other thing I not had an issue with, but it is sort of talked about multiple times how, you know, Greta is much stronger than she realizes. You know, she saved her brother from the Shrike and she's willing to go on this perilous journey to try and save him from her and, you know, lead them out of the woods to potential safety. And they say a lot that, you know, she's a lot stronger, blah blah blah. However, it does feel a lot that she ends up like always close to tears, and I get it because obviously Hans is changing and the things he's saying are horrible to her, and reasons why they've ended up in the woods as well has a lot to do with him. So she has every right to be angry at him and to want to just burst into tears and be like, do you understand what you've done? However, just sometimes it doesn't feel like she is very strong. As I was reading it, I was thinking actually I kind of hope this becomes a series, because although we do start to learn more stuff about the Shrike, it isn't until the latter half of the book, and I feel like there is so much more to come, and I feel like there is a lot more to do with their mother's death and potentially their father's and sort of the twins' involvement in this. But I really liked it. It was a really good retelling. I don't think I've read many Hansel and Gretel retellings. I think I've only read one, and that is the one by Jackson Pierce, Sweetly. Otherwise it was the Neil Gaiman one, but that was just kind of reworded a bit and had amazing illustrations. Publication is soon, and it would be really great if you could check it out, because I actually really enjoyed it, and it was a bit like different and just really nice to read something a bit. I've been wanting to read more witchy books, and I like this idea of this one of not only is just the witch after them, but it feels like the woods is after them and just everything. I think you might be sensing a theme here. The next book was In the Knighthood by Dale Bailey. This is a teeny tiny book, and I did not realize that when I picked it up because I started reading it, listening to an audiobook. So this is such a hard book to try and explain, but I'm gonna do my best. So it is about a guy named Charles who, for whatever reason, this book In the Knighthood, which was a children's book written long ago, which just did not go down very well. This book just seems to keep propping up in his life. He originally steals it from a library as a child, and then years later he meets the descendant of the author, they get married, and then they end up living in the original writer Cayman Hollow's house. They move to England to have a fresh start. They are grieving the death of their daughter, and he has decided to sort of throw himself into writing this biography of In the Knighthood and, you know, the lore and stuff of the woods and where it's come from. I'm kind of thinking, okay, cute, sleepy, like little English village with a lot of kind of weird suspicions, and because it's a little English village, they're gonna be a bit more wary and more on the, well, of course, like what's in the wood is real. I just found that this was lacking any build. In my reading vlogs, I made similar comparisons to The Shining, where I had a lot of expectations because I thought it was gonna build and go somewhere, and it just, I mean, The Shining did, but only right to the end. But I just felt this one just didn't quite hit the mark for me. I think I only gave it 2 stars. I was really disappointed. I had a lot of high expectations for this. Don't know why, but I think as it was kind of like a gothic book, and I like the idea of this, like this children's book kind of just ensnaring him, and sort of what Cayman Hollow, the original author of the children's book, like the things he did that led him to write the book, and all of the superstition of the woods surrounding them and what could be lurking in the woods. I thought there was just going to be a bit more kind of, not heavy and oppressive tone, but it's the type of thing similar to the other book, actually, which again I referenced when talking about this, by Alison Littlewood. I can't remember that one either. I will stick a photo up because my brain is just gone. You just want it to build, you want them to give in and believe in the madness, and you just want to feel like something is there and watching them, and you just want to feel like that house and that woods just slowly creeping in on them. Like I said, with that other book, this would make an amazing adaptation. You know, you could just really build on that tenseness and really play on the grief, because they are so, the wife and him, they are so just in two different places in their grief. Like, she is inconsolable, she's taking drugs, she is obsessively drawing, and he is obsessively, you know, trying to find out more information to do with the children's book, but it just didn't get there for me. The final book I finished, The Way Past Winter by Kieran Millward Hargrave. I love this author so much. I read her previous book, The Girl of Ink and Stars, and I just love her writing style. It is so lovely. This is a children's book, and she has written a book for adults, so I can't wait to read. So this book is about Mila, who wakes up one night to discover that her brother has disappeared and been taken after some strangers like stay for the night. So their older sister Sana is like, he's gone, he's left us, he's had enough, that's it. But Mila is convinced, no, he has been taken. They live in a world where winter came, and 5 years on, it has not gone. So the plot of this book was that Mila was going to go on this journey to try and save her brother Oscar and possibly the other boys, and you know, she would journey through winter or past winter. This is a very short book, and it is hard to read a children's book without having a critical adult brain, because you want to be like, I need more information, I need more information. So it's very hard. I did enjoy this. I didn't enjoy it as much as The Girl of Ink and Stars. I felt like the mythology and the island stories of The Girl of Ink and Stars played so much more of a role in her saving her island, whereas in this, the bear spirit, the forest spirit, he's kind of mentioned a few times, but it's not, for me, it's like it wasn't enough. Like, I just wanted more. But it was a good read, and again, similar actually to The Shrike the Shadows, Mila is obviously a brave person, and it is in there, and she takes on this perilous journey to leave her family home, to travel across who knows where, to fight potentially a forest spirit to save her brother. Like, the girl got balls, but often she is close to tears, and she's stubborn, and she gets very childish, and it just would have been nice just to have felt her grow a little bit more stronger and have those sort of childish characteristics kind of fall away, especially towards the end. There is one main scene that happened with, I was just like, oh, come on, because it felt like the way it was ending was that a lot was going to be sort of settled on her shoulders, and she should be more wiser. Again, this is a children's book. I need to stop being like adult brain. So those are the 3 books I finished. So looking into my March TBR, I actually managed to get a head start on it, and that is Kingdom of Ash, the final book in the Throne of Brass series by Sarah J Maas. Oh my god, so trying to prepare myself for this. So this book is thick, and because it is so thick, this is not only going to be my main read for the month, but it's also going to be my audiobook as well, because this is like 980 pages and I need to get through it. And I would really love to come out of March, even if this is the sole book I read in March, I would love to come out of it being like, yeah, done, I've done it. So yeah, any time that I can will be given to this book. So there's not a lot I can say about this book without spoiling if you haven't read it, which is probably very unlikely. I feel like the only person on the planet who hasn't. And it is the final battle. Everything is coming together. Everything from the previous book is kind of just, it's going to be emotions everywhere. I am trying to prepare myself, but I just am also preparing myself for the fact of just cry, just get on with it and cry. I would like to obviously read another book in March, and I've been thinking about what I want to do, and at the moment there is one book that is kind of at the forefront of my mind, and that is Japanese fairy tales. This is a book that Gavin's friend Craig got me, and this is kind of, I guess, similar to like the Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen, but you know, these are Japanese tales, and I'm kind of thinking that this just might be my book of that I might just pick up every once in a while. I normally like to sort of sit and read a book, not sit and read a book, but I like to, if I start a book, I want to read it continuously, and I think I need to get out of that habit and be a bit more flexible with my books. I think it's because I don't want to read this book and it take me a year or months. I want to just read it and be like bam bam, cover to cover. So I like the idea of, yeah, even if I just read, you know, a couple of stories once in a while, that would be just quite enough for me. If I'm kind of feeling a bit like, oh god, I don't think I can bring myself to read that, I might read this. If I don't read this, the only other book right now that is even kind of, what is this piece of hair doing? would be the first novella bind-up of the Dorothy Must Die series, because again, I'm kind of thinking, well, you know, they're shorter stories, there's 3 of them in a book, and I can sort of just pick it up as and when I feel like it, but I am leaning more towards this just because obviously they're going to be more stories but shorter, and I just don't like the idea of just stopping in the middle of a story and not coming back to it for a long time. So right now I'm thinking this one. So that is it for today's video. I'm very happy with my reading month. Not very often I get to finish 3 books. I know they are all very small and February is a small month. However, I did have a week off work where I went to Amsterdam for my birthday and I picked up The Way Past Winter once and probably only read about 20-30%. So I really didn't actually read that much whilst I was away. So for me, I'm very happy that I actually for once read 3 books in a month. But yeah, March is definitely gonna be the month of misery and emotions and just, oh my god. So yeah, be prepared for next month for my wrap up to just be Kingdom of Ash, because this is kind of what I'm expecting. I'm done for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button and show me a thumbs. Of course, comment below, what did you read? What did you think of my reads for the month? And if you are new, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. I hope you had a great weekend, whatever you got up to. I'm actually about to go to the gym quickly and I'm not sure what we're gonna do on Sunday because yeah, there is another storm coming and gale force winds. So I'm looking forward to being battered about on the bridge right now to try and get to the gym. But either way, I hope you had a great one and I will see you on Thursday for my weekly reading vlog, which will very heavily be featuring this bad boy.